Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is the first video of the series for SQE1 preparations. In the last videos, we discussed about SQE2 exemptions and some other stuff about SQE2. But now on, we discuss about SQE1 and the preparations for a next in the January attempt and possibly July. I'm also doing the preparation for the July 2026 attempt. So this video could be helpful for you for your preparation. And we start from the criminal law, and our first topic is Mens Rea. We start from Mens Rea, and time to time I will upload the different videos with the different new topics. So keep watching all the videos, and hopefully they will help you to prepare for the SQ1 exam. Okay, so first is the contents of Mens Rea, and first is introduction, then intention, and recklessness, negligence, strict liability offenses, then is transfer malice, and differences between Acts Rea and Mens Rea. Conclusion, we will conclude all these different topics in under Mens Rea, and then we'll conclude it. And on the last, we will do question answers sessions according to SRA standards. I try my best to find the best questions about Mens Rea, and we will discuss end of this topic. So, first is introduction. Mens rea is a foundational concept in criminal law that refers to the mental state or intention of a person while committing a criminal act. When a person is doing something intentionally wrong, his state of mind obviously know that what he's going to do, that is a mens rea. So the term is a Latin for a guilty mind. It's a term in Latin that means a guilty mind. Man, that means when somebody already planned to do something wrong, and it plays a crucial role in determining whether an individual can be held legally responsible for a crime. So meanwhile, when a crime or a criminal activity committed, so mens rea play a very important role when either somebody did this crime intentionally with his mental state, or he know that what he's doing going to do could be cause a damage to somebody else, or it is a accident. Okay, mens rea is uh, vital in distinguish between innocent incident or accident and a wrongdoer. This is what I said before. It could be if you planned it before already, and you know that your act could be hurt somebody else, that is not an accident, that is a crime. And if you know that, if there is no mental intention behind this, that it could be accident. For example, accidentally hitting someone in a car during a medical emergency might not attract a criminal liability, but deliberately running over somebody else is it could be a criminal liability. So it's all about your state of mind and your mens rea, how you while doing this or before doing these act or this criminal activity, what is your state of mind and what was your state of mind about this criminal act. Okay, after the introduction, this intention. Intentions means that a person wanted a particular result to happen, or they knew it was almost a certain to happen because of what they were doing. That means a person know about the thing, what could be the possible best result, what he's going to do. Intention is a subjective concept, so that the court will consider what this particular defendant saw or perceived as a result of their action. So what a person doing, and he know that what could be the possible result or what could be the possible outcome of his act. That's mean he know, and that's mean he's also doing the activity or criminal act with intention. But if he don't know that, that comes under accident. and that might be he saved himself or herself from a liability of the criminal activity. Okay, so types of intention. There is two main types of intention. The first one is a direct intention. The direct intention is when a person deliberately wants a specific result to happen and acts to make it happen. That's mean when you stabbed somebody else, means to stab, to kill somebody. That intention is crystal clear. You want to kill somebody else, so that is a direct intention. uh, there is no doubt that, and it could be anything else. When you're stabbing somebody else, that's obviously you are trying to kill someone. Okay, indirect intention is when a person does not aim to cause a result, but they know it is almost certain to happen because of their action. Meanwhile, the action is a criminal, but he don't actually want to get the result what comes out. A person sets a fire in a house to scare someone, but no, people inside will almost certainly die. Means you are putting in a house in a fire, but your intention is not to kill somebody else, to just scare them. There could be, but obviously, when you are setting a house in a fire, that's obviously mean the person inside could die. So that is your indirect intention. So if the person inside died because of the fire, so that comes under indirect intention. Obviously somebody died, so that is also criminal liability. Okay, so the next is recklessness. Recklessness is an act of doing something dangerous or careless and unjustified risk without thinking about the consequences. When you do something and without thinking second time, it could be hurt somebody else, it could be cause damage, it could hurt somebody else, it could be a criminal act. The act is recklessness. So if we say in the simple words, unjustified risk plus aware of risk, means a risk is unjustified. That's mean you are taking a risk with no justified reason. Then second is you are aware of risk that could be a damage to you and to damage somebody else. That is a recklessness. That is a simple definition of recklessness. Okay, so negligence. um, when somebody or someone does not take a proper care to avoid harming others, and because of that another person get hurt or suffer a loss. So when you know that but you don't avoid, or you don't didn't take a proper precautions to avoid from that loss or from that activity, even you know that that could be hurting to somebody else. So in this case, that is called negligence. So, okay, see the types of negligence. The first is ordinary negligence, carelessness or a failure to act as a reasonable person. A driver forgot to check their mirror and cause a crash. That is at the first type. That is a ordinary, a simple type of negligence. And the second is a contributory. That means it's not a failure of one side. That means it's a joint failure, a joint negligence of the both sides. The person who got injured or who got hurt, he also has some negligence in this act. An injured person also did something carelessness that helped to cause the accident. A person crossing the street without looking and gets hit by the speeding car. Okay, the third one is a professional negligence. A trained professional fails to do their job according to the expected standards. So, if a professional, a lawyer, a doctor, or any type of professional, it could be engineer or anyone else who perform are supposed to do work according to the professional standards. If he fails to do it, that means it's a professional negligence. A liar misses a court deadline and the client lost the case. So if client lose his case just because of the negligence of his lawyer, and that's also a professional negligence. Okay, so the next is differences between recklessness and a negligence. We will have a short overview uh, according to this in this table to see what could be the best possible differences we can see, because there is a very slight difference sometime, but in some cases it's a huge difference in differences in negligence and recklessness. The first is a type of fault. So if we see in negligence, carelessness or failure to take a reasonable care. If somebody didn't take a proper reasonable care uh, to do his job, so that is a negligence. In recklessness, knowing there is a risk and ignored it. In negligence, he failed to take reasonable care. Even he don't know what could be the possible risk. But in recklessness, uh, he or she know that it could be a possible risk, but he know that and then ignore it. Then second is a mindset or mental state, no intent to cause a harm, just failure to notice the risk. So no, there is no intention. That's mean there is no mens rea behind it in the negligence. So if he don't know, it could be a harm, so he can avoid it. In recklessness, aware of the risk but goes ahead anyway. So in recklessness, it's all the way opposite. He know that it could be a harm, I could be a risk, but he ignored it. Example: a driver forgot to signal and causes a crash. A driver fails and to put the signal on when he's changing his direction on the road, but he failed to do it and cause a crash. That's mean he don't have an intention. He don't have his mens rea to cause a crash, but it happened. So recklessness: a driver speed through a red light on purpose. A driver know that there is a red traffic signal light, but he cross the red light and that cause damage, or he hit somebody else or somebody else car. So that is a recklessness. Even you know now that is a big huge risk while crossing a red light. Legal area, mostly civil laws, torts and personal injury. In the negligence, because there is no mens rea behind it most of the cases, but not all of it in the most of the cases. So that is deal with the civil laws. In recklessness, mostly criminal cases, a criminal law, but can appear in the civil too. So in the both sides, they both are extreme to each other. The mostly the negligence is mostly civil, and recklessness is mostly uh, criminal law. Blame level is a lower in the negligence because there is no force of mens rea behind it, and in the recklessness it's a higher risk because the person know about the risk and what could be a possible damage, but he or she ignored. Okay, so the next is a strict liability offenses. Strict liability offenses are these in which the prosecution is not required to prove mens rea or guilty mind in relation to at least one element of the ex rea. The defendant may be convicted by proving that the prohibited act was committed. So, in the simple word, if we try to explain strict liability offenses, so that means offenses, they are actually happen, but you don't need to prove a mens rea for a criminal liability of the offense. So if even a offense is committed, but you don't need to prove mens rea in this case, that is, these are the cases which comes under the strict liability offenses. So let's see further types of strict liability offenses. The first one is a regulatory rules made by government to protect the public in everyday life. All the rules which a government made to protect and for the safety measures of the public at large, that comes under strict liability offenses. For example, food safety, environmental protection, and some sort of these offenses which even done you don't need to prove mens rea for these offenses. Second is a road traffic offenses. Many driving offenses are strict liability to ensure safety and enforce regulations. For example, speeding, driving with excessive alcohol, and driving without insurance. If somebody doing all these things, even somebody is driving a car, there is no harm. If you have a license, it's not offense to drive a car. But if you are driving a car without insurance, that's need you don't need a mens rea. You are liable for a strict liability offense. So you're doing offense in the same time. If you using alcohol or excessive uh, quantity of alcohol while driving, so that is also a strict liability offense. Okay, number three is sexual offenses involving children. Engaging sexual activity with a child, even didn't know the victim, is strictly liable. So that is not an excuse that is not is comes under a strictly liability offenses or not. So if anyone doing sexual offenses involving the children, that is a strictly liable. You don't need to prove mens rea for this offense as well. Okay, so number four is licensing offenses, a sale or a supply of alcohol, tobacco, or gambling without proper authorization. So without any authority or authorizations of any relevant department, you are doing some sort of business, or you are doing anything which could be not allowed without license, so that is also comes under a strictly liable offense. Okay, so number five is a custom trade and economic regulation offenses. Import, export, prohibited goods, breaching product labeling or trading standard laws. So if you're doing anything related to the custom laws or trade laws and you're breaching the laws, but you say that I don't know about it, that is not an excuse at all. And even you said I don't have any bad intention or any mens rea behind it, that is also not an excuse behind these offenses. So if they are strictly liable, that means you don't need to prove any mens rea. Okay, so the next is a transferred malice. And transfer malice is a transfer malice occurs when a defendant intended to harm one person but unintentionally harm a different person instead. The law transfer the defendant's intention from the intended victim to the actual victim, making them criminally liable as if they had harmed the intended person. So the liability is transferred from the intended person to the actual person when somebody try to hit or try to harm one person unintentionally, it's hurt to somebody else. For example, if a person shoot a fire from his gun and he intended to shoot somebody, but unintentionally he moved from the way and the bullet hit to somebody else and he died. So the intention for transfer from intended to actual victim. So you can't say that I don't really want to kill somebody else or to hurt somebody else. I want to uh, kill or hurt some different person. So that is not an excuse at all, because your act and your intention is transfer from intended to actual person. So you will be liable for as it is same liability or same criminal liability even if you hurt the intended person. Okay, the next is a differences between ex rea and mens rea, because these are the two topics and these are the basic foundation of a criminal law. So let's see a quick look of the differences between ex rea and mens rea. So meaning ex rea means guilty act and mens rea means guilty of mind. Sorry. So the nature of physical element in ex rea, you perform something physically, but in mens rea, it's all in your mindset or in your state of mind. The focus, what a D or anyone did in ex rea, the focus is what somebody did, but in mens rea, what a D or anyone thought or feel. Example, killing someone is ex rea. It could be cause through anything. If you're killing somebody, that is extria, but if you intention to kill somebody, that is mens rea. Requirements must be voluntary act, and mens rea must show awareness or intention. So if you're thinking about any criminal activity or criminal act, you must be aware about your act, then it comes mens rea. Exceptions: strict liability still needs extreme. So if the offense come under a strict liability offenses, so it's definitely 100% need extra. If you didn't perform anything, it's never comes under extra, because extra is actual act to do something wrong. Mens rea may not always be required, because if we discussed in the previous uh, thing, that you don't need to prove mens rea in all offenses, especially in strict liability offenses. Even in strict liability offenses, you don't have any mens rea, you're still liable for the offense. So let's see the conclusion. Mens rea, the guilty mind, and it is an important part of deciding criminal responsibility. Crime differ by a level of fault, intention, like in the murder or theft. Knowledge, knowing the result may happen, like capable homicide. Recklessness, ignoring clear risk, like rash driving. And negligence, carelessness, like medical negligence. So these are our short overview of the different recklessness, negligence, what could be best will happen, what is negligence, and what is carelessness. If some cause, some sorry, in some cases like food adulteration or traffic offenses, the law does not require mens rea and creates a strict liability. In short, mens rea links crimes with mental fault, making punishment fair, while strict liability protects public welfare. So in the last part of the video, we enter in the question and answer session. The first question is: Elisa intoxicated, volunteer, then gets into a fight and kills someone. She is charged with the murder, which requires intention to kill or cause grievous bodily harm. Which is the following is correct? A. She is automatically guilty because intoxication is no defense for murder. B. She may avoid a liability for murder if the prosecution cannot prove she formed the intention due to intoxication. C. She is guilty of the basic intent offense, so intoxication is irrelevant. D. She is guilty because even recklessness suffers for murder. E. She is not guilty because voluntary intoxication remove all mention. If you want to pause the video, you can pause it and you can double check and read it again, what could be the best answer. So the right answer is B. She may avoid a liability for murder if the prosecution cannot prove she formed the intention due to intoxication. So it's all about the prosecution. If they fails to prove due to intoxication she don't have an intention, so then she have no liability. But if the prosecution prove that even she is intoxicated but still she have intended to murder, so then she is liable for the murder. Okay, the second question is: Sam, upset by noise coming from his neighbor's apartment, throw a rock, intending only to break the window of the balcony. The rock instead strikes a passerby on the street below, injuring them. He is charged with assault, assassinating, actual bodily harm. Which of the following is correct about the mens rea? Sam had direct intention for injury. The B. Transfer malice can apply. The mens rea for harming the passerby transfer from the intention to hit property. C. Sam is only reckless for the injury because he did not aim for it. Sam lacked mens rea because he intended property damage, not bodily harm. And E. Sam is guilty for the strict liability offenses, so mens rea is irrelevant. If you want to pause the video again, you can pause it, you can read it again and find out what is the best right answer. So the right answer is B. Transfer. Malice can apply the mens rea for harming the passerby transfer from his intention to his property. So it's transfer from property to person. Question 3. Julia deliberately points her car at a wall to scare someone, believing that the car will not damage anything. However, the car shunts forward and crashes into a shop window. Breaking it, she is charged with the criminal damage, which of the following best describe her mens rea. Direct intention, because she aimed to damage property. B. Indirect intention, because damage was virtually certain consequences and she foresaw it. C. Recklessness, because she did not intended property damage but foresaw a risk and acted. D. Negligence, because she failed to avoid a risk that a reasonable person would have foreseen. And E. No mens rea, because she did not means to cause damage. If you want, you can pause the video and you can double check and read the question and possible options. So the right answer is C, recklessness, because she did not intended to damage the property, but foresaw a risk and acted. So this is all for today's topic, mens rea. We try to explore and learn about the mens rea. Hopefully this video will helpful for you for your SQ1 exam, and I will back soon with the next topic from the criminal law. We also try to learn from other topics time to time. I will upload the next video very soon. Till that time, take care of yourself. This is Nabil Ahmed Chaudhary signing out.